Hello everyone, this is Global Government News. My channel is DDarko2013. It is Monday, November 2nd, 2020, and the insanity continues. This is pretty much part 2. I'm going to continue where I left off, which was a quick summary here, and we move on, which is talking about the lockdown starting. So all these cases in Europe, announcing all these different lockdowns, these easier, nicer, less strict lockdowns that are only going to last a month. How they're going to break up Christmas parties. I mean, they're all about it. Going in there and arresting people for having too many people during Christmas over in the UK. Yeah, telling people it's a civic duty to snitch on their neighbors. Here you go. Ontario imposing highest fines in the country for those who break new COVID gathering limits. I actually cover this in my last set of videos, but I threw it in here because you can see all of these restrictions are just getting more insane. This is in Canada, imposing the highest fines for those who break physical distancing health rules put in place. Up to $10,000. Anyone who organizes illegal social gatherings, and $750 for those who are at such events. So just being there, you could have to pay $750, and you think, and some of these rules, how are they going to enforce them? How are they going to enforce them? They're going to have to start. That's why we're talking about snitches. People are going to, I can make money. I'm going to snitch on my own family. Because there's too many people here, maybe they'll get paid $750. And cameras, surveillance. Cameras are everywhere now. There was one article that I was reading about surveillance cameras being used. Those traffic cameras that they were using to, make people safer. The red light cameras and all that. All these different surveillance cameras are going to start being used to enforce these rules. Big Brother is watching your social distancing. So here we go. Fury as traffic flow cameras are secretly switched to monitor millions of pedestrians in the government-backed COVID project. Which is kind of funny because they were probably already doing this. But now they're just starting to. Before it was just traffic. We wouldn't use those to spy on people. Millions are being monitored as part of a secret government project. But that's conspiracy theory, right? That's what they've been telling us for like the last 30 years. At least 363 cameras installed to monitor traffic flow have been switched without public consultation. Well, why would they go to the public? The public don't have a say. It's so funny how they write this stuff. Without public consultation. Jeez. Campaigners call a sign. What the hell are they talking about? Basically, they say they're going into a truly dark place. Or I guess you could say a dark winter. This company that's behind it, I guess behind the artificial intelligence camera technology, I don't know what's up with all that AI, but was awarded £50,000 in June to improve the collection of social distancing data. So it says pedestrians in 16 cities would be monitored for how close they are to one another in public places to help the government plan the removal of lockdown measures. So it's to help to end the lockdown. So if you just allowed yourself to be spied on, consent to it, we could end all this. That's what all this is about. We'll just lock everything down. Just stay in your house. Just do all this ridiculous stuff so that we can just get past this. And then that same douchebag will be in the press or in the news saying, well, this is never going to end. COVID's going to be with us for years, for 5 years. I guess they expect people to not make that connection. That, I guess that means that the lockdowns are never going to end because COVID's going to be here for years. Army called in to help make sure businesses follow COVID rules. Handful of military personnel being deployed. I think this is in the UK. Health team. Military personnel being deployed to To ensure businesses are complying with lockdown regulations, the troops who will not be in uniform will provide extra capacity for councils and blah, 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 blah. So to monitor compliance. I guess they're not going to be in uniform so that you don't know that they're actually military troops enforcing this. Maybe they're just paid snitches. They're just civilians ratting you out. I guess that would be better, right? A request was made under the Military Aid for Civil Authorities. The request has been agreed. And it says that they're going to provide additional capacity on a time-limited basis, or for a limited time. It was agreed on. We all agreed on this. We all came together, had a nice, happy council meeting, and we all said we want to lose our freedom and be spied on and want martial law. Boris Johnson brings in the army to help roll out rapid turnaround tests for COVID for whole cities within days. Wow. Well, the military, I guess they're out there. Might as well use them, right? Prime Minister made the announcement as he plunged the nation back into a full lockdown. It says mass testing and better contact tracing regime. He said millions of cheap and reliable tests able to be used immediately. And I read in the comment boards there were people like, oh, why didn't they do this before? They should have done this before. You should have used the military. So maybe, I guess, people are all on board with the military conducting tests and enforcing restrictions for social distancing. And, well, of course, and Trump says the military is going to be used to distribute the vaccines. So this is Boris Johnson announcing lockdown in another article. Prime Minister announces second lockdown to avoid medical and moral disaster. Non-essential shops will be shut, travel banned, and restrictions that start Thursday and run for a month. Now, this is the key point here. Why are they doing all this? Is it because there's bodies on this just stacking up at the hospitals? I mean, they don't have any room. They're just so stuffed. They're falling out windows and stuff, and backs of trucks and stuff. After a bleak sage modeling on rising threat. That's what it's all based off, these models. And the way they coerce people is by saying delaying restrictions has cost lives. You're going to kill people unless you allow this lockdown to take place. That's what he's saying when you say medical and moral disaster. You have a moral obligation to lock yourself down, to accept all these restrictions. If you have to, 95% of the public has to suffer for the other 5% of the public that would normally die every year in a flu season. I'm not saying that people haven't gotten COVID or this COVID-19 may not be, that it's worse than other flu viruses, but I don't think anything justifies what they're doing. And Boris Johnson justifies it by saying no responsible prime minister can ignore the message of those figures. The only way to avert 85,000 deaths this winter. And they don't really talk about deaths. I mean, yeah, they mention deaths, but it's always about cases. And they never really talk about the actual death rate. Because, 10 billion cases of people who aren't sick, that probably didn't die or didn't get sick. It sounds a lot worse than an actual death rate of, say, 1 to 5%. But whatever it takes to bring us into this new society that they have planned for us, they'll use. So whether it's terrorism that's brought on by them, manufactured by them, a terrorist attack, whether it's a virus pandemic that they engineer and they offer the solution, right? Just like 9/11. They engineer the event, and then they offer the solution. Patriot Act, give up your rights. The economic crisis or recession of 2008. Just give the people that, caused all this, that stole a lot of money, just give them trillions of dollars and they'll make it all better. Maybe you'll have your job, in the end. You guys probably saw this. October 24th, a Tesco shopper was furious. He ripped coverings off non-essential items and wails and charged with criminal damage. So you would think, oh wow, man, look at this guy. He's just, these damn criminals. They call him an anti-lockdown protester. You almost think he's like a Black Lives Matter protester going through Target and ripping up stuff, right? But he's not. He said he was mad at security guards. He said, since when has clothes been non-essential? So all this stuff was taped off. These clothes are non-essential. Stores are now unable to sell clothes. Customers and staff are being told to prioritize the sale of important essential goods during the 7-day firebreak lockdown. I heard supermarkets have put covers over non-essential things such as clothes. We're heading into winter now, and who would have thought clothes weren't essential for children, or I guess anyone? I'm sure there are people who are out there who can barely afford heating in their houses. Now they want to stop people from buying clothes in the supermarkets. This is the guy. He posted this on Facebook. But he said here, and I'm going to move on, I don't expect everyone to do what I've done here, but I do expect everyone to know that denying the public clothing is nothing but immoral and inhumane. So we're talking about Boris Johnson, talking about morality. The moral thing to do is to lock everybody down so that they can't buy clothes. Another furious shopper, she's told she can't buy sanitary pads at Tesco because they are non-essential. She was left raging and in tears. So the people are just kind of losing it, They're pushing them to the edge. They got it all taped off. So while these people are breaking down and losing it, at least they'll have alcohol, cigarettes, and other stuff. Lots of entertainment. They'll have, Netflix shows to be able to watch as they descend into this darkness that we're talking about, this dark winter. Mom slams Tesco for signs next to baby milk saying, we are unable to send non-essential items. So another thing, baby milk or formula is non-essential. This article, I tried finding this article, the original one, and I had a hard time finding it the first time, and the second time it was gone from the source. Mom can't get new clothes for hospitalized daughter, for whose old ones were covered in blood as they were considered non-essential. I've never felt so angry, frustrated, upset ever. I think she had to drive 40 miles or something to go get clothes. But this is the crazy part, is that they're having these lockdowns where you can't go more than 3 miles. So if you can't go more than 3 miles, then you can't get these things that you need that are essential. Then you're going to have to break the laws, then you're a criminal. Ireland to impose 5-kilometer, 3-mile travel limit and strict new COVID lockdown. Just what I was saying. Move to level 5, see level 5 and tier 4. Measures to include closing most shops and banning home visits. They're going to close most of their economy and society. To what? To curb surging infection rates. This is like Al-Qaeda. Remember Al-Qaeda with 9/11, the war on terror. The boogeyman, right? Basically the boogeyman. This is what this is for the pandemic, is the infection rates, curbing the surging infection rates. That's Al-Qaeda. And we got to give up everything for that, to capture this boogeyman. A 3-mile travel limit, 6 weeks. Visits to private homes and gardens will not be permitted. There will be no gatherings except for tightly controlled weddings and funerals. Scotland announces new 5-tier COVID lockdown. Like all the other ones, say how they're rolling it out. It's all about public relations and how they're going to sell it, right? How they're going to sell this lockdown of your life, the ending of your life, and shutting down of society. The First Minister said the levels rising from 0 to 4 would avoid a one-size-fits-all approach, which is what they did, lock everything down. Every area of the country. For areas of the country with lower infection rates. So then each county and each city is all going to be different. You won't be able to travel. You won't know where to travel, what the rules are. There's 4 different levels. It's all meant to confuse people, like I said, to make them go insane, to lose it until they just said, I can't take it anymore. I'm not even going to bother anymore. I'll just stay in my house. Just do whatever. Social life to a complete standstill in Belgium as they head into a strict 6-week national lockdown, October 30th. And here we are at 14 minutes already, so just stick with me. I'm going to keep moving here. Berlin police break up a demonstration as coronavirus tensions mount. 2,000 people claiming the government's measures to curb the virus undermine their freedom, which I thought was interesting because in Poland there's 40,000 or 400,000 people out there protesting against the new laws, abortion laws. So 40,000, 400,000 people will go and protest their ability to carry out abortions. But they're not out en masse protesting against this. And not wearing a mask is linked to antisocial traits. So cover your face, cover your mouth, stay 6 feet apart, and you will be more sociable. This is GGN. Thank you.